Just a minute.
Okay.
Who is it?
It's Mommy.
Come in.
All right.
It's a tea party.
Is it tea party?
Spend the afternoon with 4-year-old Deagen, and you're liable to have a hard time keeping up with him.
Mike, did set, go.
He not only has an active imagination, he never seems to run out of energy.
Mom, watch.
It's hard to believe he has cancer, but he does. It's acute myeloid leukemia, the deadliest leukemia a child can get. Deagen was first treated in his hometown in Kansas. They got Deagen into remission and gave him a bone marrow transplant. But he relapsed. It was then that his parents turned to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for help.
There you go.
When you realize that your child may not be here tomorrow, then you kind of have a different perspective on what today means.
And it has given, hope to our family that maybe Deagen will make it.
When we first walked in that first day, to see the smiles on everybody's faces. They're cruising around the hospital either in their wagon or on a tricycle. There are so many kids from all over the place who are going through the same thing that Deagen is going through.
Hello. Hi. I'm Sheila.
It's time for Deagen's chemotherapy. But his day began early this morning.
This morning when they had to draw blood, they had to put a little peripheral IV in. You okay, bud? He is really amazed, both Janelle and I, just by his strength and courage that he has.
He's sick, but you would never know it. He acts like a normal child, and he knows he has cancer. He knows he's sick.
Nice warm blanket.
And still, he gets up every day, happy, running around, full of energy.
Oh, look at that one. He likes me. Mommy, here's the people.
The medical team at St. Jude was able to get Deagen into a second remission.
Let's play, Mama.
Okay.
And once again, he is going to receive a bone marrow transplant that will hopefully keep him in remission and lead to a cure.
Everything ready.
This transplant is different than before. St. Jude pioneered a technique that lets parents who are only a partial match be a donor for their child. In this case, Deagen's dad. It's called a haploidentical transplant, and it holds new promise for kids like Deagen.
Research is the very essence, it's the very core of discovering how best to beat cancer. I think everyone here at St. Jude knows that we couldn't do all the work that we do without the donors, and that's particularly true for bone marrow transplantation.
It's a wonderful, incredible feeling knowing that I'm a part of this team. The next 5 years will be very important because we are testing new agents, new drugs in the battle against AML.
They are finding cures, and they're making improvements, and they're doing research and doing experiments that no other hospital is doing.
Red, yellow, blue.
All right.
It's been over 6 months since Deagen's transplant. He's here this week for his regular checkup to make sure he's still cancer-free. But there's something that has his mother worried.
He's had some quiet moments today, which is kind of unusual for him. When you're around a child day in and day out, you pick up on those little things that seem different. Deagen was complaining about his leg hurting him, and that has been a trademark in terms of when he was first diagnosed and then when he relapsed. If he continues to complain about leg pain, then I'm going to be very concerned because then he could be relapsing.
Samples are being taken of Deagen's bone marrow. It's an extremely stressful time for Deagen's parents and the team at St. Jude because they've run out of options. If the transplant hasn't worked, there is nothing else that can be done to save him. " 24 hours later, test results confirm everyone's worst fear. The cancer is back. Deagen has relapsed. His parents decide it's best to take him home, where he will spend his final days.
Happy birthday.
Friends and family gather for a birthday party. Deagen would have been 5 years old today.
We talked to him very openly about going to be an angel and going to be in heaven. He got really sad one day because he thought, how is my blanket and my trains going to be up there?
The day before he passed away, I told Deagen that we loved him, that Mommy and Daddy were in the room with him. He took our hands. At this point, he was no longer talking. He wasn't moving. He wasn't even opening his eyes, but he took our hands and squeezed them with his, and then he pulled them closer above his heart.
I believe someday St. Jude will find the magical cure that treats pediatric AML. I'm not going to give up hope. Now, more than ever, the research is so important to us. They gave us 10 months of a life with our son that we wouldn't have. Lance and I will continue for the rest of our lives to raise money for St. Jude and to find a cure.
And what's he doing?
Laying in the bed.
Laying in the bed at the hospital?
Corbin, please come to the medicine room.
That's you.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a normal Thursday morning. Corbin climbed into bed and wanted Daddy to scratch his back. When he did go to rub Corbin's shoulders, he found a bump that he knew was not supposed to be there.
Immediately, Corbin's parents took him right to their pediatrician. Their doctor took one look and knew that it was a tumor. The next day, Corbin was at St. Jude.
It was Mother's Day when we came here, and we had very different plans for that day.
Are we done?
We are done, and you get to go through the toy chest.
What do you think? This car that shoots out?
And how was this?
I was terrified. I had no idea what to expect, and I saw other children who had lost their hair. Some of them looked like they didn't even know they were sick. They were riding tricycles, being pulled around in little red wagons. And still, the cry from my heart was not my child. My child is not going to be here. We'll just find out it's benign. We'll turn around and go home. Dude, you still sleepy? I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know what words to say. I just said, God, not Corbin. This is not supposed to happen to him. 3 years has not been long enough with him. You cannot let this happen. Please make it stop.
Put your arms up like this. Come on straight. Now don't let me push him down. Hold him up.
At St. Jude, Corbin was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma. It's a malignant tumor located next to his right shoulder blade. It's an aggressive cancer, and St. Jude is pioneering treatment to fight it.
Corbin is a little soldier. For a 3-year-old, he's been through a lot.
I really want to go home.
We will in a little while. He's coping with it. He still doesn't understand that he's sick. He knows that he has a little bump on his back that's trying to make him sick, and that the doctors and nurses here are going to make it completely go away. And then we'll be able to go back home.
A kiss?
Every nurse knows Corbin by name. You just get emotional at how much they love your child. They really care for the child, they really care for the parents, and they really care for the siblings. And they know that that's all a part of the healing for the patient.
In the fight to save Corbin's life, the next few days are critical. He's had 12 weeks of chemotherapy to shrink the tumor, and today's MRI shows that there's been some reduction in the size, but not enough. The next step is surgery. The tumor must be removed.
So he's brave. He said, I'm ready to go. I kissed him goodnight and left the room. That's the hard part, leaving him.
4 hours later, Corbin's parents receive news that surgery is over, and their doctor wants to see them.
Okay. So we're all done. Everything went very well. It hadn't invaded the ribs. It hadn't invaded the lung. Almost all of the muscle is still there. All the ribs are still there intact. And so you can hug your child.
No. Oh, thank you so much. The tumor came out. They were able to get the entire tumor. No deformity, no scoliosis. He's my angel, and I could not imagine my life without him.